The Stellar Prime Academy floated in the void between stars, a magnificent structure of crystalline towers and gravity-defying architecture. It was the most prestigious institution in the known galaxy, where the best and brightest from 100 species came to learn the arts of diplomacy, combat, and cosmic navigation. Its halls had produced legendary warriors, brilliant scientists, and wise leaders for over 3 millennia. Anna stepped off the transport ship with nothing but a worn duffel bag and a datapad that looked ancient by galactic standards. She was human, a species that had only joined the Galactic Federation 40 years ago, still considered primitives by most advanced civilizations. Her plain gray jumpsuit stood in stark contrast to the elaborate bioarmor and neural interfaces worn by her fellow students. Alexander Thorne, a third-year student from the Crystalline Collective, noticed her immediately. His species communicated through light patterns dancing across their translucent skin, and he'd been assigned as her orientation guide. He approached with the confident stride of someone who'd never failed at anything. "You must be the human transfer," he said, his universal translator converting his light speech into standard galactic. "I'm Alexander. I'll be showing you around." Anna nodded, her dark eyes taking in everything with an intensity that made Alexander slightly uncomfortable. There was something about the way she moved economical, precise, like every gesture had been calculated for maximum efficiency. The first incident occurred during combat theory class. Professor Zexter, a massive 8-limbed Crothian warrior, believed in practical demonstrations. He selected Anna for a sparring match against Vrix, a 4th-year student from a species whose reflexes operated at speeds that made them appear to teleport. "This should be educational," Vrix hissed, his forked tongue flickering with amusement. "Humans are slow, weak. This won't take long." The match lasted exactly 4 seconds. Anna didn't move like someone fast. She moved like someone who knew exactly where Vrix would be before he did. She sidestepped his first strike, redirected his momentum, and had him pinned to the mat before most students realized the fight had started. "How?" Vrix gasped, his pride more wounded than his body. "Physics," Anna replied simply, releasing him. "Your species telegraphs direction changes 0.3 seconds before movement. Neural pathway limitation." Professor Zexter's mandibles clicked in what might have been approval or concern. "Interesting. Very interesting." The whispers began that day. Alexander found himself defending Anna in the common areas, where students from advanced civilizations questioned how a human species that still used chemical rockets could outperform them. "She's just lucky," insisted Mirax, a Centaurian prodigy whose species had mastered quantum computing when humans were still in caves. "Wait until we have the spatial navigation exam. Humans can't even perceive fourth-dimensional mathematics." The spatial navigation exam was considered the hardest test in the academy. Students had to plot a course through a 16-dimensional maze using only their minds and mathematics. The galactic record was held by a transcendent being who'd completed it in 47 minutes. Most students took 6 hours or failed entirely. Anna finished in 32 minutes. "Impossible," the exam proctor stated flatly, reviewing her submission. The calculations required would need a quantum processor network the size of a small moon. Anna tapped her temple. "I used shortcuts. Your species calculates every possibility. Humans learn to approximate, to intuit. We called it gut feeling before we understood the mathematics. It's less precise, but faster." "Less precise?" The proctor displayed her results. "You achieved 99.97% accuracy." Alexander started paying closer attention after that. He watched Anna in the library, where she absorbed information at a rate that shouldn't be possible without neural enhancement. He noticed how she never used the Academy's advanced technology when simple solutions worked. In xenobiology, while others used molecular scanners, Anna identified species by smell and visual pattern recognition methods their professors called primitive, but which somehow yielded faster results. Turning point came during the crisis simulation, mandatory test where students faced an unwinnable scenario, designed to evaluate how they handled defeat. The simulation, a diplomatic mission gone wrong, with a ship full of civilians trapped in a deteriorating orbit around a black hole. Every calculation showed rescue was impossible within the time constraints. For 200 years, every student had either died in the simulation or abandoned the civilians to save themselves. It was meant to teach humility and the harsh realities of command. Decisions. Anna beat it in 18 minutes. She'd done something no one had. Considered she'd manually piloted the rescue ship using gravity assist maneuvers, treating the black hole not as an obstacle, but as a tool. It was reckless, required split-second timing that should have been impossible, and violated 3 laws of safe. Asked ROGATION. It also saved everyone. The Academy's administrators called an emergency meeting. Anna stood before the Council of Masters Ancient Beings who guided the institution for millennia. Miss Anna, the head administrator began, its form flickering through multiple states of matter. We've reviewed your performance. You've broken 17 Academy records in 3 months. You've developed solutions to problems that stumped our greatest minds. We need to understand how is this possible. Anna was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled, something genuine and a little sad. You're all incredibly advanced, she said. Your technology, your lifespans, your mental capabilities, they're beyond anything my species will achieve for centuries. But you've had it easy for so long that you've forgotten something important. And what is that? The administrator asked. Humans survived on a death world, Anna explained. Our planet tried to kill us every day, predators, diseases, natural disasters each other. We didn't have crystals that compute or bodies that regenerate or lifespans to perfect our skills. We had to learn fast, adapt faster, and make impossible choices with incomplete information. You call it primitive. We call it survival. She gestured around the chamber. You've optimized for perfection. We've optimized for not dying. When you face a problem, you calculate the perfect solution. When I face a problem, I find a solution that works right now with what I have, or I'm dead. Your way's better when you have time. But when you don't, Alexander, watching from the gallery, felt something shift in his understanding. Humanity wasn't primitive. They were specialized, forged by a crucible that most species never experienced. The administrator was silent for a long moment. And you believe this makes humans valuable to the galactic community? I think, Anna said carefully, that the galaxy has been at peace for a long time. But peace doesn't last forever. When the crisis comes, and it always does, you're going to need people who know how to fight with their backs against the wall. People who've been doing it for their entire evolutionary history. 3 months later, when the void swarm emerged from dark space and began consuming worlds with a hunger that no weapon could stop, the galaxy learned Anna had been right. And they learned to be very grateful that humanity had joined the Federation when they did, because sometimes the galaxy doesn't need the best solution. It needs a human solution.